Hey there, Joy Beland coming at you for CMMC Explained. Today I'm going to focus in on the awareness and training domain. If you know me, you know that this would be my favorite domain because I'm so passionately focused on the human element in cybersecurity. Well, CMMC does bring this in as its own domain, and I'm happy to see that, but what I'm not happy about, quite frankly, is it doesn't come into play until level 2. Why is that so disappointing? Because anybody that is considered to have good cyber hygiene, which is supposed to be what level 1 represents, would a long time now be doing the training for all of their staff on security awareness. I digress. Let's go ahead and dive into this. At level 2, there's 2 different practices that you need to be focusing on. First would be training the entire organization. Now, when I say the entire organization, this is what I mean. Not just all of the staff, but also the leadership, the C-suite, if you will, the stakeholders. Do you have board members? How about independent contractors that deal on a regular basis with your own staff? All of these entities need to be folded into the overall employees that are being trained on security awareness on a regular basis. So let's make sure we encompass everybody when we do that. The second practice at level 2 is going to be focusing in on the information security duties and making sure that those are trained for those particular roles. Now, an example of that might be here at Edwards, where we recently had everyone that deals with data be included in a data classification class. So we had our own Fletcher Hearns, who is fantastic as our CTO, dive in and walk us through data classification categories, how they're implemented, and who's responsible for what. So that was a great class that we did internally, and then we were provided the written materials that we need in follow-up and any additional information that we might want. That's an example of information security specific training that would happen at level 2. Now, when you move into level 3, one of the things that is super important always to understand is that level 3 is going to have not just the policies, not just the procedures for this particular type of training, but the plans. So how are you going to sustain a program that will prove that you are resourcing and measuring the effectiveness of this correctly? At level 3, we're going to bring in insider threat training. Now, this is also another favorite of mine, wouldn't you know, because I went through Carnegie Mellon's course on insider threat program management and vulnerability assessments. And what I learned in that is that the insider threat, as it focuses on the human element of cybersecurity, is fascinating. So we zero in on things like fraud, like espionage, like IP theft, which you could also translate into CUI or FCI theft. But you also have intentional and unintentional insider threats that are things like, data disclosures, people that are disclosing too much information, social media, blogs, talking in, public places where they shouldn't be discussing things, both intentional and unintentional. So insider threat, you've been hearing this a lot lately. Like I see it everywhere on LinkedIn. People are really focusing in on insider threat because it is brought in as a specific requirement at level 3 for CMMC. Now, when you get into level 4, you're going to start to deal with the advanced persistent threats, which in my mind ties into some very specific social engineering training that you want to do. But focus in on levels 2 and 3 for the security or the awareness and training domain as part of your overall preparation for CMMC assessments. If you have any questions, please circle back to me. This is something that I'm super passionate about. I just love awareness and training, and keep the engagement going. All of these questions that we get coming in, and the people that are emailing me privately asking me for customized security awareness training for their clients, we're super happy to accommodate anything that you need over here at Edwards. We want to help shepherd this process. Why? Because we're all in this together. Thanks, guys.